Welcome to Compas on the Beat. It's a game week with the Compas, our NFL betting show here on the network. It's NFL Week 15. It's just flying by. And as you know, I like to start with some information, some self-patting on the back here. And I told you so's, and, and obviously we'll get into week 15 here. So I told you guys last week it's real free money when you bet on the Texans against the Chiefs. And for whatever reason, people were still buying into the Chiefs mystique. And I was talking to the Caesar Sportsbook odds maker Joey Fizo. Hopefully, I'm not butchering. Joey was saying there was a lot of money on KC last week, and I'm like, what? Like you were getting 3.5 from Houston, a dominant defense facing what, 4 backups on the KC O line, and nobody wanted that. Victor and I did, so we got money there. But to take it more to week 15 and not last week, because we like to look ahead here. And finally, people, they're listening. They're not betting on the Chiefs. Joey was telling me that they're getting anti-Chiefs money now. I think people are so pissed off with the Chiefs. They're saying Justin Herbert, one good hand. I don't care. Here's all our money, Chargers. Go get it back, because the Chiefs have been blowing our money all year. So for the first time in a long time, people have no trust in the Chiefs, that being the public, that being the pros. So yeah, it's a strange development. But for us here on Game Week with the Compas, we've been telling you, fade the Chiefs, fade them. Why are we still buying into the hype? And Joey Fizo, again from Caesar Sportsbook, was trying to say, I think the reason for that is like the Chiefs usually come through in prime time in a big spot here. But now that the Chargers and Chiefs are playing at 10 a.m., maybe nobody wants to give this team the time of day. So it's a weird. It's been a strange time in the NFL, and we covered all the strange storylines here on Compas on the Beat on Tuesday. Yeah, Victor and I did. So a lot going on here, but I don't get it. I don't know what took so long. And one more thing, people are also the Lions too, and the Lions have a big showdown with the Rams. So who would have thought in 2025 people will be fading the Chiefs and the Lions? You know who thought that? Eric D. Williams, our good friend. He said the Lions and the Chiefs won't be as good this year. So hey, better late than never. But people are pouring their money on the Chargers and Justin Herbert. So if you love hearing that, let me know in the comments. But we'll break down that matchup: Chiefs Chargers Part 2, not in Brazil, Arrowhead Stadium. We'll break down Rams and the Lions. But I think the main event game of the week is Bills Patriots, spicy revenge game. But let me know if I'm correct, Victor. How you doing, sir?
Yes, that is our main event game of the week, and part of the reason that it's our main event game of the week is because you actually did a story or wrote a story about fact or fiction about Josh Allen. So I kind of wanted to get into that, but in terms of the numbers that you laid out there with the Chiefs, I'm I don't know what took so long. We've been telling people for a couple weeks now that you want to start fading the Chiefs here into as you talked about Gilbert, but it's a good way to start here because Gilbert, I'm gonna be upfront with you right now. You've already looked at my lines at what I'm gonna do this week, and I'm behind now, 20 points behind you. And so I hear the dogs barking out there. I'll just tease that as we
Okay.
go along here with this show. But yes, let's get to our main event game of the week. There's a lot to talk about. It seems now like the last 3 weeks, Gilbert, it's just been one good matchup after another. After I complained that most of the season had been garbage, now the last couple weeks we've just gotten banger after banger. So we're gonna start off here with the Buffalo Bills traveling to the New England Patriots. This game switched, Gilbert, with the line. And I need to change it on here because it's now Patriots are 1.5 point favorites, and the over under is still at 50,
You
50
got
and
it
a
right there.
half.
It's on there.
Yeah. Oh, it
It-
is. Okay. No, no, but I thought the Patriots are not the favorite. It's
uh,
minus 1.5.
no, they're the dog, or I could double check real quick right here, Vic.
Yeah,
But
no, it switched. They're now the favorites at 1.5.
it's been switching a lot today.
Uh,
But
yeah,
no, they're the dog right now currently. At least where I'm looking at. They're
they
plus
are the
1.5.
dog.
And the game
Got
is
it.
so close that it might be a pick 'em in a lot of places. But I want to say 2 hours ago, the Patriots were the favorite, and it's going to
Okay.
reflect on our top 5 bets because we both put our bets there. So I'm pretty pissed off and I'll tell you why in a bit. But yeah,
Right.
it is the Patriots now being the home dog, and you know, let me break it down for you a little bit for
Yes.
why. Because this is a pros versus Joes game, and the pros are on the Patriots. That's the sharps. Those are the ones that have a bunch of money but are also smart with the money. The public is on the Bills. People are not giving respect to the Patriots, even though they beat the Bills in Buffalo. Nobody cares because the Bills are more experienced. People still think the Patriots are a little fraudy. So a lot of the public money was going in on the Bills, but it could definitely change again, Vic, because in sports betting, it's what the sharps do, not what the public does. So if the sharps are putting more money on the Patriots, they're going to be the favorite too. So again, check out my story at si.com for my betting column. Is going to come out on Thursday. Joey Fiesel of the Caesar Sportsbook, he said, I'm going to guess by kickoff, it's going to be Patriots -1 because the sharp money is coming in here. So, and with that said, and I'm not people like that, the pros and the Joe stuff, because they kind of want to see what the sharps are thinking. But make your own pick, do your own research. But on this one, I will go with the sharps because I think the Patriots have proven enough to me. And I'll say this, I kind of have a narrative that I can't get rid of the Bills. I think they're frauds, and they almost lost to the Bengals, and they came through for me. They should have won that game. Joe Burrow, who usually doesn't throw 2 interceptions uh, in the fourth quarter, but he was playing in the snow, gave that game to the Bills. I can't trust their defense. They don't have an identity because they keep going back and forth with James Cook or superhero Josh Allen. And I told you last week, Vic, they just don't know what they want to do, and it almost bit them in the ass. And so they said, "All right, F it, Josh Allen, go be the hero." Which I think to me is the best way to win games. It's
Yep.
risky, it's reckless, but he is the best player on the planet right now. Sorry, Patrick Mahomes people, but I don't get what the Patriots need to do to prove it. They're at home. They have Mike Brable, Drake May's playing out of his mind, 10-game winning streak, and they're on a bye week. Vic, I know you're going the other way. I gotta hear something because I don't
Yeah.
get why people are on the Bills here.
Yeah, and I get it. Like I understand, and maybe I'm falling for the whole Bills thing, and maybe I'm being because I have them in my wins team this year. I'm falling for it too. I'm falling for the banana in the tailpipe, right? Like, and I'll tell you this in terms of the Patriots, I don't want to hate on them or anything like that. And I get it. They've had the one of the easiest schedule, fourth place schedule, and they've won a bunch of games in a row. I think they're up to 10 or 9 in a row
10.
now, and they're well deserved of the number one seed right now, as of right now. But it just feels like it's a division game, Gilbert. What have we say? Like we don't know how this is going to go. It could flip either way.
Yeah.
It's a revenge game for the Bills and Josh Allen. And then you also look at some of the opponents at the Patriots, like the wins that we talked about were big wins for the Patriots, whether it was the Buccaneers win at the Buccaneers or the Bills. They don't look as impressive now.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
fair.
I want to see what Drake May can do in December. This is big boy football now. You need to win these big matchup against the Bills and the Ravens coming up. I know even the Ravens we don't take too much stock of, but I just think that there's a lot on the line here for the Bills and for the Patriots. They might need to lose a game here. I still think they're going to end up with the number one seed because I feel like the Broncos are going to lose a couple games here coming up because they have one of the toughest schedules. That with those four remaining on their schedule. So I think the Patriots can afford to lose a game, and also you want to see where you're at if you're the Patriots. Like you don't want to go in winning all these games and then you get a bye, you rest, and then what? You face somebody who's red hot. Like let's say they go up against the Texans, they'll probably get knocked out in the first game. So you kind of want to see where you're at if you're the Patriots, and so that's why I'm kind of leaning. Why I am leaning with the Bills here.
Yeah, a couple things you said there that kind of still make me feel split. Is like you're right. Sometimes these divisional battles they tend to even out, regardless of who's playing at home and what. And since the Patriots got the first one, the Bills could definitely get the second one. And I'm not saying the Patriots are so much better than the Bills, but I think they do have an advantage. But here's the other thing: it's not that big of an advantage because like you mentioned, if they play Houston in the playoffs, I'm picking Houston all day. It's just the thing is Buffalo doesn't have that type of defense for me to give them
Yep.
that trust. Like, okay, what do you really have that special besides the quarterback? And the Patriots have one that's pretty good too. Maybe not as good as Josh Allen. And and can we stop with the whole thing? Drake May is taking over the AFC. It's like Josh Allen is still Josh Allen. And like
Yep.
people just want to write him on because he hasn't won the Super Bowl. But and we've talked about this right now. Nobody does what that guy can do in terms of being mobile and throwing the football. But hey, Drake May outplayed him the first time around. It was impressive. They caught him off guard. I don't think it's going to happen again. So I don't feel confident, but I think because they're at home and coming off a bye week, that's what I care about the most here. But yeah, these teams are pretty even. Nobody has a special defense. And here's another thing I don't really like. People are just saying the Patriots defense is good because Mike Vrabel's there. It's really not that special outside of Christian Gonzalez. I don't know if
Yep.
Milton Williams is going to come back for this game, but they're kind of a top 15, top 12. It's good, it's solid, but they're not Houston, they're not Denver, they're not Green Bay. I don't even know. Well, Cleveland sucked last week, but I shouldn't say that. But they just don't feel like a legit top 10 defense, and for whatever reason they put them in there. And I think that's because Mike Brable was known for physical defenses. They're not quite there yet.
And one of the things that you brought up a couple of weeks ago is like people like are giving the Patriots the benefit of the doubt, like as if this team had Belichick and Brady on this team. And I don't understand. Like this team was terrible for like 4 years, and all of a sudden they win a bunch of games, and now we're just letting them slide. Like, hey, yeah, okay. Like we've given more grief to teams like the Broncos than we have the Patriots, and I just don't understand where this leeway is. They're getting that. What have they earned? Like, I get it. Like even Mike Brable, he's great. He's had a great turnaround this season, but he didn't win anything with the Tennessee Titans. At a couple of times he had the number one seed and he blew it. Like he had teams, and I guess you can say, well, he finally has a quarterback here with Drake May, but we still need to see it, Gilbert. We don't. And then one more thing, like I don't trust this running game of the Patriots. Do you? I mean, I don't. I get Trayvon Harrison has played much better like the last 5 games, but I still don't trust. How do we know that Stevenson had his fumbles have gone away? Like that was one of the big things. Like the 2 games they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they turned the ball over 5 times. Stevenson turned the ball over 3 times, and then the game against the Raiders. If the Broncos keep winning, the the common opponent comes into play, and the common opponent is the Raiders, and that's why they might not get the number one seed. I still think they get the number one seed though, because their schedule is really easy the rest of the way.
And to your point, I honestly don't think the Patriots are going to win these 2 games, like the Ravens and Buffalo. They're going to probably lose one. I'm just going to say they'll handle Buffalo and maybe slip up against Baltimore. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. I think I'm kind of with you. Where like they haven't really proven themselves, especially in December football. So those are 2 experienced games or teams back to back. I bet they lose one, and that'll be it. They'll go like 14-3, which is very impressive for this team here.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but I think the leeway comes big is the Drake May aspect. Like Drake May is better than Bo Nix, and I think people like that. And I think you're onto something with the running game. They, not because I have them in fantasy. And I'm not trying to be selfish here. They were much better when Henderson was the number one guy,
Yes.
and they had him, and they made him the guy, and they kind of mixed in some other guys to give him enough of a balance. That the problem is he's not a physical running back that you want like Derrick Henry, right? So I don't know if that's gonna work in December, but they were better with him as a back. When Stevenson came back, they were trying to go do the committee route, and Travion kind of got lost, and they're trying to get Henderson going. So yeah, Stevenson going. It didn't really work in the last couple of games. So to me, pick Henderson for my sake for fantasy football, but I don't know how it's going to work in December. So yeah, there's a lot still to be determined for this team here.
Yeah, and it's gonna show us a lot. I want to see what the adjustments the Bills make in this game, and at the same time, what the Patriots the adjustments. And I get it. Like, I one of the big arguments, and this will be my last point. When you look at the difference between the Broncos and the Patriots, it's the fact that they blew out the Giants, and then the Broncos had to score 30 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Giants. So I understand, like common opponents, like and the way you beat them is a big factor here. But like I said, I still need to see it for me to believe in it because I'm just not being fair to the Broncos and any the other teams we've said are frauds because at the same time we haven't seen it from the Patriots. We haven't seen them, you know, at all like have a thing where they've been, like had a struggle, Gilbert, I guess is what I'm saying. Like we haven't seen them struggle and have the, what happens if you get punched in the mouth and it happens in the playoffs? Are you able to, bounce back?
Yeah, no. So I think these two games we're going to see something, and I'm with you. I think they'll lose one, but I won't pick them to lose this one. So maybe
Okay.
that means I got to pick them against Baltimore. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, let's move on to our co-main event game of the week. It's the Green Bay Packers traveling to the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are underdogs here by 2.5 points. The over-under here is 43.5. What is the number saying for this matchup, Gilbert?
Yeah, according to Joey Fiesel from Caesar Sportsbook, sharp and public money is on Green Bay, which I'm not too surprised. Like, everything you just mentioned on the Broncos, kind of not having that respect and almost losing to bad teams and the roller coaster that is Bo Nix here. So there is money on most of the money on Green Bay, but the thing that Joey mentioned, like, which is weird, there's so much money on Green Bay, but he doesn't expect the line to get to -3 Green Bay. Like, I think they just kind of found the home here, and it kind of shows respect to Denver. Like, if it goes to -3, maybe it'll be like, we'll take Denver. And I think because the line is so close that you just kind of favor the better team, which is Green Bay. So if it was 3.5, I bet it would be more Denver money. So that's some respect here for Denver. So I think people are just jumping on a good number, and I do like the number for Green Bay. I've been very impressed with Green Bay the last week, beating the Bears and beating the Lions, and I still have them as top team in the NFL. And I know you got the Rams out there, but I think the Green Bay defense is better. They're more well rounded, and they have a physical running back in Josh Jacobs, and they got Jordan Love. But I could be wrong. Maybe Seattle or the Rams are better, but I just been really impressed with Green Bay, so I'll take them here. Um, but I do want to see what Jordan Love does against Denver. This is a very good defense, and the last time Jordan Love faced the defense of his caliber, am I being generous to Cleveland here? He lost, right?
Right.
So
Even the
Chicago defense
Panthers
is,
gave him a good game
yeah, and
defensively.
Detroit is not a good defense. The
Yep.
Bears are getting better, but they're not world beaters. So I want to see what Denver could do against Jordan Love because I've been very impressed with him. I said he has the potential to be a superstar after what he did to the Lions on Thanksgiving. Uh, he set the tone with Christian Watson last week, so they were a step ahead. So to me, uh, there's a lot to prove here for Jordan Love. If we're gonna be critical of Bo Nix and Drake May, I want to see what Jordan Love's here does here. But I'm really impressed with him right now. So it's gonna be a good game, though. I really want to see these two. Like, remember, like you were talking about, Vic, Houston, KC defense, the physical level. Green Bay, Chicago, the physical level. I think we're gonna see the same thing here.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna be paying attention to is how these this game compares to what we've been seeing in terms of the physicality. I haven't seen that from Denver yet, and I have seen it from the Packers, especially against the Bears. And so this will be a good test for the Broncos, especially how they're gonna finish the next 4 games. I'm gonna start here with the Packers, and I'll be quick in terms of I think they're, if we looked at this game in week 10, Gilbert, we would have called it the fraud bowl. And I think since Christian Watson has come back, it's made a huge difference for this offense for of the Packers. It's allowed them to stretch the field a lot more. And I think where the difference is that they have a really good running game. I think it took them a little bit of time to kind of figure out what they wanted to do once Tucker Kraft got injured. And because they had Christian Watson there, it took them a little bit of time to kind of figure out what they wanted to do with this offense, and ever since then they've kind of taken off. And defensively, I mean, what Jeff Halfley has done with this defense has been great. Like, I it took them a minute to figure out how they wanted to use Micah Parsons, and now they're just a juggernaut. And so I can't wait to see what they do against, especially Sean Payne. he's been really good at game planning here and there and winning those one score games. One of the things that I was crazy is that they're 8-2 and one possession games. They should have been that last week shouldn't have been a one score game
Yeah,
because Pete Carroll kicked that field goal, and we'll get into it. I can't wait
so dumb.
to get into that as well. But in terms of what we've seen, like, and I think I heard, I think, from Mike Sando today, where the Broncos, I think, have trailed in 8 of their 9 wins, Gilbert, which, I mean, I don't remember that. That's why I keep saying that the Broncos are a lot like the Kansas City Chiefs last year, where they were winning those one possession games. And sometimes that's all you need, as long as you have good coaching, a quarterback that won't turn the ball over, and a really, good defense. And so, but at the end of the day, Gilbert, I'm taking the Packers here. They just have they're the more complete team out of these two teams. And I think the one thing that does scare me for both of these teams is their kickers. I don't believe in either one of their kickers, and I think come the playoffs, those two kickers might cost them a win, or something to think about down the road.
Yeah, Will Lutz against McManus. We'll see who comes
Yeah,
out on top. But last thing, if we're putting pressure on Jordan Love to deliver, same thing on Bo Nix. The last time Bo Nix
yeah.
was very good was when, like you mentioned, he played the NFC East. This is not the NFC East coming to town.
Yeah, and one more thing I forgot. They really missed Dobbins on that running game. The
Oh yeah,
Broncos do.
yeah, JK.
And like you just mentioned earlier about Trayvon Henderson, RJ Harvey has been good, but he more of a co-feature guy instead of being the main guy, because he excels more when you allow him to be more of the co-feature guy instead of being the number one guy.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, let's head over to the LA betting market. We're going to start off with the big matchup between the Detroit Lions at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 5.5 point favorites. The over under here is 55.5. What are
Whew.
the numbers saying? And I'll be honest, I think this line opened, I want to say, at either 3.5, and it's been betted up to 5.5. So what are the numbers saying for this matchup?
Yeah, and first of all, check out House of Horns for an in-depth preview of this explosive matchup here. But in terms of the betting angle here, yeah, Joey from Caesar Sportsbook said I think they had it at -4.5, but the sharps brought it up to -5.5. So it's been all Rams money, sharp money, public money. Everybody's on the Rams. I get it. They're doing well right now. They're red hot. They they beat down the Cardinals to make up for the loss against Carolina, which to me, people are easy to forget about that. But I'll get into it right now.
Yeah.
But everybody's on the Rams here. And then one more thing, when I usually ask odds makers, what's the game you're worried about? Joey didn't even give me a game. He said I'm sweating the over. Like everybody's gonna bet the over. And to the credit of the bettors, the over has been hitting. It hit on the Lions, Cowboys. It hit on Chiefs, Cowboys. It hit on Bengals, Bills. These were lines that were 53.5 and above. So over bettors, that's kind of the one of the most squarest bets out there when people don't really know what they're doing. They just love the over. It's been hitting, so he's going to be
Yep.
sweating that one here. I wouldn't even. I will either go over or don't touch it because these are two very explosive offensives here. Detroit defense is not good, and then to my point here, but I'm going to take the points here and go with Detroit because I do not trust the Rams back end on their defense. They don't. They have one good linebacker and a very suspect secondary. I just saw Detroit put 44 points on the Cowboys defense. I know that the Rams defense is better. They have more pressure. They have better front, but they don't have much in the back end. And I think they could get exposed from Jameson Williams, Amon Ross Brown, Isaac Tesla, and all these guys. I know Laporta's not there, but you have Montgomery and you have Jameer Gibbs. So to me, uh, probably the best bet is take the over. I'm not touching it because I don't want to be I don't want to ride the coattails of the over bettors who've been on it, and I've been saying go under, so I'll leave it alone. But it's going to be an explosive game here, and I just think Detroit is so well rounded that you don't have enough DBs to keep up here. Hey, maybe the Rams win, but I will take the Lions and the points here, and I'm okay with that bet. I'm not even worried about it. I think the secondary is going to get exposed here. Remember, Bryce Young, Jalen Cooker, Ted McMillan, and Xavier Leggett carved them up 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. The only difference is that this game is indoors. It's not in the rain, and the Rams get to finally play the Lions at home after having to play them on the road the previous two matchups. And to me, Gilbert, this matchup in terms of the narrative, it's a revenge game for Sean McVay. Like the fact that he's been outcoached by Dan Campbell doesn't look good on him or his resume either. And one of the things I've noticed this year is like every time there's been a matchup where they got either embarrassed or he hasn't won, like whether it's been the 49ers, remember when Kyle Shanahan just gave it to him and Shula, and then they came back and they pretty much were like, we're gonna score on every possession. It feels like that in this game, Gilbert. I don't know why I have that feeling. It just feels like they're gonna try to score on every possession here. And I'm with you. Maybe Detroit stays with them, but it just feels like the Rams and McVay. One more other thing too is it feels like McVay is really trying to push for Stafford to get the MVP. This game's going to be at the 125. It's gonna be the game of the week on Fox. Don't be surprised, Gilbert, if this is like where it's a statement game to try to push for Stafford to get the MVP. And it's one of those games where it's up in the 40s to like 20 something against the Lions. It just feels like that. I might be wrong here, but I'm taking here the Rams with the points and the over too. I'm the fact that this game is indoors too really helps these two teams be able to score in this matchup. But like I said, this year just seems like one of those revenge tours kind of things because every time McVay's been faced with that, he's kind of come back and make sure he you know press the pedal, and he's been good at it this year.
Yeah, and my last thing, and I know we gotta move on, and then we have a whole preview on this show. It's just the Rams are good. It's just they haven't proven to me they're able to beat the teams that have their number. You lost to Philly already.
Yeah.
I know you split with the 49ers, but you still lost at home to
Yep.
freaking Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne. Another team that has your number, they won't get to face, maybe in the playoffs, is Green Bay. So Green Bay,
Yep.
Philly, to an extent, San Francisco, and then obviously the Lions. Like to me, that's one check box they haven't gotten to. We're gonna find that if they really beat the Lions, I'm like, okay, here we go. It's 2021. Let's find out what you're about.
Yeah, and they got to take care of business because then 4 days later they got to turn around and face the Seahawks. So, yeah,
Oh yeah.
that I just think that for them it just feels like that. All right, Gilbert, let's move over to the other team in LA, and that is the Chargers are traveling to the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. The Chiefs are 4.5 point favorites. The over under here is 41.5. And I know you started the intro with this with the Chiefs and the fact that people are out on them, but I'm still wondering why this is a 4.5 point number here. I just
Yeah.
don't understand it. Is it just the odds makers trying to get one last ounce of money from the Chiefs betters? I don't know. Just tell me what's going on here and why this line is 4.5.
Well, they did fool the public last week because I again I was shocked that all the money was on Kansas City last week when I'm like it I get that it looks too good to be true. It's an Arrowhead, it's prime time, but just do the simple research. That O line was decimated. The Texans have the best defense in football. Mahomes, who is great, doesn't have much outside of Rasheed Rice. Like I just didn't understand that 3.5 line. So I think to me that one was more like, all right, let's kind of fool the public into the mystique of the Kansas City Chiefs. This week, I kind of I get it a little bit. The -4.5. Herbert did not look good with the one hand. This is not a desperation game. This is not a playoff game for Kansas City. But it's just a matchup thing where your guy is banged up. Herbert could not hit his wide receivers. He couldn't connect with McConkey. Keenan Allen did nothing. There was one pass to rookie Trey Harris. That's about it. Quentin Johnson did nothing. It was just dump balls of Vidal or Vidal, I forget, whatever, Vidal. And then Hampton got the touchdown. So, and the five turnovers from the defense. So to me, you're taking that crappy offense and a Herbert who keeps trying to protect his hand, who can't take a hit, to a hostile environment at Arrowhead Stadium. And to Chris Jones' credit, he's been asleep all year. He came to play last week against the CJ Stroud. He put a hurting on CJ Stroud, who's healthy. Um, and the defense came to play. They almost bailed out Mahomes, but it didn't work. So, with that being said, I get it. I'm okay with the odds makers giving respect to the Chiefs here. Maybe it's 1 point too high. Maybe 3.5 would be better. But with that said, to me, I will stay away from this game. It's either Chargers or nothing for me. I'm not gonna fall into the Chiefs. I've been fading them for a while now. Uh, and like I mentioned, I trust Jim Harbaugh more than I do whatever the Chiefs are doing this year because Harbaugh knows how to play ugly football. He's gonna produce a game plan where it's gonna be you don't want to throw to receivers or you can't throw to receivers. We're gonna run the football. We're gonna run you, Justin Herbert, who had 66 rushing yards on Monday Night Football. We're gonna lean on Jesse Minter's defense. So to me, I think they could find a way. It's just uh, I just don't know what to expect because Spagnolio is still a very good coordinator. So I'll stay away here. But you're twisting my hand. I'll go with the Chargers here.
Yeah, for me, it's the Chargers here, and they have a great opportunity. As I've been mentioning, you have the opportunity here to be the executioner. You're the one that we've been talking about the Chargers forever. Like, hey, they're if any team is going to be the one that takes down the Chiefs, it's going to be opportunity is right here. Take it now. Like go in and you get to do it at Arrowhead. You get to silence all of Chiefs Kingdom there, And I'm with you. Like it comes down to Jim Harbaugh right now and his ability to be able to win ugly games. You have a banged up quarterback. Run the ball here. Like do something that the Chiefs just refuse to do, and that is run the ball. The other thing is Jesse Minter, man. Like, I feel like this is his time to shine. I don't know if he's gonna get if he's gonna be up for a head coaching opportunity because we keep hearing that he's not gonna leave until he wins the Super Bowl. But if there's something out there for you, like I would take it. But I'm not Jesse Minter. There's also the Michigan job just opened up. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know. I'm just throwing it out there, but in terms of this game, I'm gonna go with the Chargers here. I'm taking the Chargers here. I just like I said, there's a golden opportunity, and for Charger fans to be able to finally, hey, we're the ones that ended the Chiefs, streak of making it to winning the division, to making the playoffs. Everything's there for you. I think if you miss out on this opportunity, you're gonna kick yourself. So I'm gonna say the Chargers here.
Yeah, that'd be a great opportunity to put the final nail in the coffin of the Kansas City Chiefs and end that. You know, I don't. One thing that's kind of bothering me is like people are saying that's the end of the Chiefs dynasty. It's like
No,
it's the end of this, era for Mahomes with Kelsey. But like, it's like with the Patriots. Like, do we count, all the 20 years of Brady Patriots a dynasty? I don't think so. They didn't win a Super Bowl for 10 years, but we
they went
just
10 years. Yep, exactly.
somehow we call it a full dynasty. It's just kind of spurts here. But anyways, that's kind of my pet peeve right now. Put the final nail in this Mahomes Kelsey era to bed because Kelsey's probably going to retire. Wouldn't that be a great feather in your cap to say, "Oh, we destroyed Kelsey on this final season"? So I'm with you, Vic. They should do it. And since I see Jorge and Joseph in the comments, breaking news: What's Up Boats is going to be recording later tonight. So bear with us. You'll see my face and Victor's mug for a little longer, but Dan and Fernando will come back a little later for What's Up Bolts.
Yeah, and they're back. They're alive. They're back from Hong Kong. They're ready to go. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. But no, they'll be on. Make sure you check out What's Up Bolt for that preview of Hoop. You'll get to hear from. I'm sure they'll bring up old grandpa Philip Rivers. It
Oh,
is I
yeah.
think 5:45 Jorge
Yeah.
Pacific
Maybe
time. They'll
maybe
be on.
6 p.m. with those guys. You never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, we'll never know. We'll see what time they decide to hop on there. But yeah, make sure you tune in for that, and you can talk crap about us on there. So that'll be good. All right, Gilbert, let's get to our Super Dog contest. Week 14 pick, where we pick at least a dog that is at least plus 4.5 or more. What do you got for us this week? You kept the cover last week. You were close to getting the win, and then Burrow decided to throw a bunch of interceptions there. But you got the cover. What do you got for us this week?
Yeah, when we do these picks, I sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't know what Vic's thinking here, so I'm trying Detroit plus 5.5 here. But I thought you might have
Yeah,
taken that. But after hearing what you said, that was nowhere near your thought process. So I regret that one now. But
yeah,
I'm okay with this one because Joey mentioned again from Caesar Sportsbook that the Sharps are in on the Vikings, and I don't
yeah,
feel good about that. But this is one of the times I'll follow the Sharps here because uh again, I think the Cowboys were kind of fluky. I know Fernando was on them for a couple of weeks, but I knew eventually they're gonna spin out of control and go back to their old ways. And uh, being home here and with maybe no CD Lamb too as well. The way Pickens just checked out, I'll take a chance in the plus 5.5 for the Vikings from a super dog. I don't trust McCarthy. I do trust Brian Flores. And I don't know why, but I just have a weird feeling that this will be the game that Justin Jefferson does something. What a waste of a season for a prime Justin Jefferson. Do something and help me out here with my super dog.
yeah. I like it. The season here, Gilbert, is pretty much trying to see what you have in JJ McCarthy and whether or not you're going to have to bring in. I would still bring in a veteran quarterback during the offseason just to give him competition. You don't want to hand someone the job, but I think for JJ McCarthy, he needs snaps, man. Like he missed all of last season. He's missed some of this season. He just needs to get out there and play football. And so I'm with you. I like this too. And then I think part of it too is what you just said. I think the Vikings became the first team to get shut out one week and then shut their opponent the next week.
Wow.
So,
I didn't even
I
know that.
mean, that's crazy to me. So, maybe they can continue on with the trend there and be able to shut the Cowboys offense. So, and I like Brian Flores and what he can do with that defense. Well, I'm with you on this one. Mine, Gilbert, let me preface this by saying that I don't believe in anything the Raiders are doing right now, Gilbert. I'll say this. But what caught my attention, Gilbert, at the end of that game against the Broncos was the fact that Pete Carroll decided to kick a field goal just to mess with with all the bettors out there, who people who betted on the Broncos. What was it? Minus 7.5. That field goal got a lot of lost a lot of people a lot of money. I saw he lost like around $250,000, some crazy amount. I'm like, why are you betting on the Broncos anyways? Like they haven't, been a good team in terms of blowing teams out, but that's besides the point here. I feel like coming off the narrative with the Eagles, everybody's like, hey, this is going to be a get right game for the Eagles. They're going to put things away, blah, blah, blah. I just feel like Pete Carroll is gonna just try to get within 10 points of this. If he has an opportunity, Gilbert, he's gonna make himself try to just go for it and try to get as close to that line as possible, Gilbert. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna roll with it. I'm just throwing there. One last thing I'll say about this too, Gilbert. It's funny. Injuries have finally forced Pete Carroll to play all his rookies because guess what? He is not here to develop players. And so you're starting to see some flashes from some of these rookies. And it's all because of injuries. And it's not because he's wanting to see what they have.
Yeah, I don't know what Pete Carroll was thinking. I don't believe that he cares about the betting line. I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe there's something there. I think he said something about like he thought he had more time. Regardless, it was dumb the field goal, and I know people are pissed off, but that's part of betting. You just don't know how coaches are going to react there. But it was one of the worst all time bad beats ever. That must have been awful.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, "What are you doing?" And I wasn't even like, "What was that all about?" And I was like, "I could see why
Yeah, I
bettors
I
would
was
be
watching,
upset
I'm
with
like, "Just
that."
end this game already. What the hell are we doing here?" Like, I was
Yeah,
so mad at Denver for not, getting a first down and killing the clock, and then, like, that means you're gonna give me 20 more minutes of watching this crap here because I need all the games to end, and I was like, "What are we doing here with a field goal?" It was so strange.
yeah. Just I don't understand what happened there. All right, Gilbert. You are now up 20 points on me. You're up 161 to 141. You went 3-2. I went 2-3. You've been just above 500. I think for the last 5 weeks now. I don't think you've had a bad week for a while there. So you've been just hitting on all your best bets. What do you got for us this week for your five best bets? Let's start off
Yeah,
with number 5.
you should remind the guys on Compas on the beat that I've been kicking your ass here for betting, but no, I
Yes,
shouldn't brag because the season's not over. We got 4 weeks to go. I could definitely choke this away here. So, but yeah, if I hold on, I want you to bring this up for four
I
Compas.
will.
That way, Dan and Fernando know that I do something right. Um, and yeah, I know the Bengals, failed me with not getting me 10 points, but they did cover. They held on. So I think the Bengals could beat the Ravens, and I thought they could beat the Bills
They
too.
beat them
So
already.
yeah, and the Ravens are like people are just expecting them to come back. Like Lamar Jackson does not have it this season. There's a lot of finger pointing in Baltimore. They're still crying about the Isaiah Likely touchdown. Cincinnati's at home. I'll take a pissed off Joe Burrow who blew a game, saying, "All right, I got to come back and be better." Why not? I think he'll be angry. I know maybe no T Higgins. I forget what's going on with him. He was in the concussion protocol. I worry about that, but they still got Jamar Chase. So I'll take the Bengals here at plus 2.5.
Yeah, Mike Gesicki and all those guys are still really good. So I'm with you here. Number 4.
And I mentioned this one already. Give me the Packers. I just think Jordan Love is playing better than Bo Nix, and maybe as simple as that.
Yep. Number 3.
This one here too. Patriots are at home. I really like that coming off a bye week, but I could definitely see this season series evening out. But I'll take the bye week and the home team here.
Number 2.
Another one I already talked about. I really think Detroit's going to expose the secondary, and I'm going to be vindicated on House of Horns.
And then number 1, I love this one.
Yeah, I wanted to maybe consider Super Dog, but people are gonna call me a Sam Darnold hater if I did. They're gonna destroy the Seahawks, but like maybe you talked about Pete Carroll on a backdoor cover of ages. Like, well, I can see Philip Rivers doing some. We saw this all the time. I know the Jorge probably saw this watching Philip Rivers for many years. Like, he's gonna keep chucking and chucking and chucking until he gets like a garbage time touchdown and lose by 7 points here. So why not? I'll be part of the fun here and give me the Colts plus 14 against Seattle.
Yeah, I totally forgot that I'm older than than Philip Rivers. I just realized that. I was like, "Oh shit, he's 44." I was like, and he's got like 10 kids on me too. So
And a grandchild.
yeah. Wow, that's crazy. But that's a good one. It's your number 1. Why not? Take a chance. You
Yeah.
never know. All right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you mine real quick. I already talked about the Bills. I'm gonna keep writing them. And you're gonna see a theme here, Gilbert. It's all dogs here for me this week. I'm just no taking the favorites here. I'm going all dogs here. My number 4 is the Falcons plus 4.5. One of the best game last year with Kirk Cousins. They were 2-0 against the Bucks. Gilbert, we remember that. Why not? I'm gonna roll the dice. They're also on my wins team, so I need the Falcons here to at least give me a win. Also, I kind of want to see chaos there in the NFC South. If the Falcons could beat the Bucks, then it opens things up for the Panthers. Why not?
Yeah.
It also makes you look good because you had them making the playoffs. So anything for for our content here. My number 3 is the Bears. I mean the Chargers at 4.5 against the Chiefs. We already talked about it. I really like the Chargers. It's your time here, Chargers. Take care of business. Become the executioner. My number 2 here is the Dolphins plus 3.5 against the Steelers. I
Wow.
don't understand this line. The Dolphins have been playing great. Like they just been under the radar. People just forgot about them, but I think they've won like 4 or 5 in a row. The Steelers again. Everybody likes them because they beat the Ravens. They probably should have lost that game if it wasn't for some terrible officiating there. But hey, I and it's a Monday night game, so maybe Mike McDaniel has something up his sleeve, and if they get to what would they be 6-6 at this point then, or is it seven and
No, they're
seven?
7-7. Yeah, if they win.
Yeah, then they have a shot, and we'll see what happens the rest of the way. But at least they're back in the conversation, and he's pretty much saved his job now. And then number 1, Commanders plus 2.5. I Marcus Mariota, I get it. I don't understand why the Giants here are favored by 2.5. Jackson Dart wasn't even that good against the Patriots. Like they look better with Jameis Winston. Like I'd rather have Jameis Winston right now the rest of the season. He's over here like already doing well on these shows, and I'm like I as much as I would like to see Jameis Winston take one of those jobs from some of the people who are really terrible, I still think he has something left in it, and should have given him the rest of the season and let Jackson Dart kind of you know sit back and watch, but we'll see what happens there. But I like the Commanders here at plus 2.5.
Yeah, one thing on the Dolphins, I do not care about them. They Tua and the Dolphins are playing well when all the games don't mean anything. When they're already out of the playoff
True.
race, they're not gonna make it. They remind me of Derek Carr Saints, Derek Carr Raiders, where like you're out of it by a Halloween, and then you start playing good football, and you show enough where you could keep your job for next year. Tua's doing the same thing right now. Mike McDaniel's doing it too. I think they're gonna regret giving this regime another chance because they're winning games that nobody cares about. Like, do it when you're actually in the race here. So to me, I don't care. I don't care about Miami at all.
All right, that's our 5 best bets. We'll see how it goes this week. I need to catch up. I'm down 20, so I'm throwing a Hail Mary here, Gilbert, going all dogs this week. So we'll see what happens. Let's get to our quick hitters, finish up here. We're going to start off with the Cardinals at the Houston Texans. The Texans are 9.5. The over-under is 42.5. Gilbert, I can't believe this line. As much as I love Houston and that defense, I don't know if they can cover this line. I'll be completely honest.
Yeah, I get it. The offense is not good, but I could see Houston winning 10-0. Like Arizona is awful. And I'm gonna do a
True.
bold prediction. Monday morning, Jonathan Gannon's gonna get fired. I think they're gonna get so beat up
Ooh.
that the only can win the ball with Michael Wilson. The Houston's gonna shut that down. It's like, and now you're gonna be the Bidwell family and saying, what do we really have on this roster? Oh, let's just fire the guy now. I bet he's gonna get fired on Monday. It's gonna be ugly. Give me Houston -9.
Yeah, I like Houston, but I don't. I think the Cardinals will cover here. They've been sneaky where you least expect it. They'll cover
And
one
threw
of those
for 40
games.
last week.
I know, but hey, it was the Rams offense. They were done by the second quarter. So, all right, next one, New York Jets at the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is another one where I'm like 13.5 for the Jaguars. Like I get they've been winning, but
Yeah.
like Jacoby Myers, I know it's made a difference, but 13.5, I'm like the over under here is 41.5. How do you see
I
this
think
one?
because the Jets took a dirt nap in the middle of the game against Miami. Where did the hell did that come from? They got their asses whipped by Miami, and I'm like, you guys are two bad teams, and you couldn't show up, New York. I get the line here, and real quick on the Gannon thing, like I think a coach is just due to get fired because we've only had two. Usually, you get 3 or 4 guys get fired in the season. I think we're due for one, and I'm gonna say it's Gannon, but uh, I'm taking Jacksonville. I'm not sure the Jets and Washington burned me last week when they were the 2 losses I had. They both took a freaking dirt nap in the first quarter.
Yeah, I like I like Jacksonville here, but I don't like that line. This is way too big. Like they're giving way too much respect to the Jaguars, and just because they've been up and down. All right, next one, Cleveland Browns at the Chicago Bears. The
Ooh.
Bears are 7.5 point favorites. The over under here is 39.5.
I'll go Cleveland to cover, Bears to win. I think the
I'm with
Miles
you.
Garrett sack thing is gonna do well this week, but they were so embarrassed by Tennessee. How did Tennessee and Tony Pollard beat this defense so badly last week? It was a weird game.
Yeah, and the Bears just seem to be in one score game. So I'm with you on that one. All right, this one I want to hear what you have to say. You have the Panthers versus the New Orleans Saints. The Panthers are 2.5 point favorites on the road. The over under here is 40.5.
Ever since I vowed to not think about the Panthers, not do anything pick wise or betting wise, they've been fine. So I'm gonna keep fading them for opposite reasons to make me look good if they come through. Give me the Saints to win the freaking game. So hopefully the Carolina wins the game. And they
Yeah,
lost it
I think.
not too long ago, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I know it was like 17-7.
And they just beat
Yeah,
the Buccaneers too.
yep. I'm gonna take the Panthers here. Things are lining up for them. They still have those 2 games against the Bucks. I want to see them beat the Saints, and I want to see the Bucks lose to the Falcons, just so we can get that. Those two games mean something. So just because of that, that's how I'm looking at it here. Tennessee Titans and San Francisco 40. There's another line where I'm like, yeah, I can see it. I this one I'll take here. I'll take the 49ers at minus 12 and a half. Where are you at with this one?
Yeah, I'll pat myself on the back. I was the only person at SI that picked the Tennessee Titans over the Browns last week. Point for me. I just felt like they were due for a win, and why not against a crappy team? They got their win out the way now, so now get your asses handed to you. So give me 49ers to win by 20.
Yep. I'm with you. I like the 49ers are gonna make the playoffs. We're gonna get 3 teams from the NFC West, which I think I was the only one that called that. I think you had. Who did you have? Which division did you have 3 teams? Huh?
Well, I don't
I think
remember. Maybe
you had the NFC East. I know it was one of them. You were banging the drum on the NFC East.
I think
I
I
want
ended
to
up.
say NFC West.
I didn't put. No, I was actually more even. I had NFC South. I had 2 teams from the NFC South. That's why I had Carolina and Tampa Bay both making it, which is dumb.
At least you're gonna get one of them there. All right, Gilbert, that's it for us. We've covered every game. No bye weeks this week, so we're done with the bye weeks. A lot of people are starting their fantasy playoffs. Everybody out there, good luck. With your bets this week. There's a lot of good games. Hopefully, it continues the trend that we've been seeing the last 2 weeks, Gilbert. We continue to see really good games, especially in prime time.
Yeah, it's been a good couple of weeks of games here. Hopefully, more here. Quick promos before we sign off. You're gonna see us one more time on House of Horns, but then you're gonna see the Ramirez brothers on What's Up Boats. We're probably gonna overlap a little bit, but yeah. And then if you're watching the replay version, check out both shows, House of Horns, What's Up Boats. But for right now, you might have to pick one in 30 minutes from now. But check us out at 5:30 for House of Horns, and then What's Up Boats maybe around 5:45 to 6 p.m. So with that being said, let's get out of here to do other shows. We got so much stuff here on Compas on the Beat. Thank you for the support. This is a true network here who's grinding out content every single day. So, nos vamos, pues, vámonos, and see you in a bit.